Hey, people, listen. It's Monday. It's the 9th, okay? Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, y'all. Listen, people, we're in the building, okay? It is Monday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about, okay? It's called Shocking Crimes. Shocking Crimes. We got a 10-year-old who claimed that he stabbed a 13-year-old to death and it was self-defense. It's a sad day in the neighborhood. It's a very sad day in the neighborhood when we got a 10-year-old taking the life of a 13-year-old and saying it was self-defense. Why are 10-year-olds and 13-year-olds in the same circle together? It just don't make no sense to me. People didn't like the way I ran, my motherhood journey. From birth to 18. Now, this don't mean, because let's keep it 100, kids going to do what they do. But from birth to 18, under my watch, I was like, no, and no one more again. No, you can't go here. No, you're not doing no sleepover. No, you're not spending the night in nobody's house. I never understood the point of sleepovers. And I just wasn't that mom that said yes to them. And I'm not, sometimes when you say something, people automatically take the opposite offense because you said yes to it. Oh, they judging me. No, I'm not judging nobody. And I asked, don't judge me. But I just was not that mom. And I'm trying to figure out how a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old find themselves in the same bracket, and the 10-year-old actually has a knife on them to be able to stab somebody. But we're going to talk about it. Then we got this New York City mom. Now, listen, I know a lot of times, unfortunately, we got to show you the stories about the bad cops, the bad judges, and all of that. But trust and believe, there's a lot of good cops out there. There's a lot of good judges out there. There's a lot of good people out there. When a judge is sentencing a defendant and the judge is highly disturbed by your crime, then you did a really bad crime. When I show you the precious picture of this precious baby, the mother threw her baby down in the drain in the freezing cold, and the baby froze to death. And what do you call it? Why is the autopsy? The person that did, the doctor that did the autopsy, said that baby died with the eyes open, crying and screaming, waiting and looking for mommy. And they said the mother would stay there until that baby died. Now, we love to throw up a postpartum depression, and I'm not even minimizing anything. But I think it's a little more than postpartum depression, where you could throw your baby down the drain, hear your baby crying, not snap out of it, your baby die, and you just... I would have just jumped in the drain with the baby. We're going to talk about it. And then there's so many sad cases in our history, but this has got to go down as one of the saddest in 2026 so far. And I know we just started. But this Savannah Guthrie's and her mother and his sister, what is this sister's name? I keep going between Anna, you know, they keep going back to her house, collecting evidence or stuff. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, in my opinion. This is heart-wrenching too. But you know, some reports are saying they believe the mother is truly still alive. And these people want $6 million. It went from 1 million to 6 million. But an FBI expert thinks that the person is just torn with the family and that the mother is not alive. How do you go from 1 million on one day to 6 million? I mean, how many movies did you watch? Even if you are a billionaire, how do you just get that quickly $6 million liquid cash out the bank and what you're putting in just duffel bags? This is not the movies. I'm just so upset that somebody is playing with their lives like this with her mother. It's upsetting to me that people are so envious of people who actually work for their funds. I can't be mad at you if you didn't squander away your cash. You living in a nice home. Kudos to you. You did that. It's very sad. Yeah, the second deadline is gone now. No, this story is super, super sad. But I don't even understand how maybe the neighbors are not that close. I don't understand how not a neighbor's ring doorbell didn't catch or something. You know, I guess that's the benefit. You know, there's benefits, there's ups and downs no matter where you live. The benefit of being in this townhouse development is that literally, my neighbor's door is right next to mine. Literally. So what didn't get captured on my ring bell is going to get captured on theirs. If it don't get captured on theirs, it'll get captured by my next door neighbor's ring bell. It's just sad. I don't understand people. The world has gotten so evil. So evil. I don't even know what to think anymore. I say my prayers, pray for the best, and I just keep it moving because it's very crazy now. Crazy times. So listen, people. It is Monday night, trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. So y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday. I'm saying Thursday. Oh my God, I'm pushing the week already. It is Monday night, trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Shocking Crimes. We got the 10-year-old that said he was self-defense. He took a 13-year-old's life, okay? We got the New York City mom sentenced to life. And we got Savannah Guthrie. They're still looking for her mother, Nancy. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Julius. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button for the Diva.
Hey, 48.
I'm back.
Hey, well, I'm glad you're back. Hey, Katrina. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and start with this 10-year-old. Super sad. I can't even believe it. Let me go ahead and see where do I have this story at.
This morning, a 13-year-old girl is dead after a stabbing overnight at an apartment complex in Northwest Houston.
Yeah, this happened on Grow Lane near the Northwest Freeway. That's where we find KHOU 11's Jalissa Garza live this morning. And Jalissa, have police said what led up to all of this?
Alona and Jacob, good morning. Well, police do say that there was some sort of large fight happening here last night. And when officers arrived, they found a 13-year-old girl who had been stabbed. And police say that a 10-year-old boy told officers on the scene that he's the one who stabbed the 13-year-old girl and is claiming the stabbing happened in self-defense. Now, take a look at your screen. We do have video of the scene last night as police were investigating. Police say officers were called here at around 8 o'clock last night after hear reports of a large fight outside the apartment complex. And as I mentioned, when they got here, they found the 13-year-old girl with at least one stab wound, and she was taken to the hospital where she sadly died. Now, as for the 10-year-old, police say he told them he stabbed the girl and that she wasn't alone.
Right now, it looks like that they're claiming that the 13-year-old was among about 20 to 30 people that came over and started assaulting people in that apartment, and that he stabbed her in self-defense.
We're told homicide investigators spoke to witnesses and looked for surveillance video. Police say the case will be presented to the Harris County District Attorney's Office. Now, under Texas law, 10 is the minimum age of criminal responsibility, but any decision on charges will be up to prosecutors. Now, another important detail that police are investigating, whether this may actually be connected to an earlier disturbance among teenagers that happened earlier in the day. I'll have more on that coming up in the next 30 minutes. For now, reporting live in Northwest Houston, Julissa Garza, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Julissa, thank you. A former Aramark.
Super sad. Let me go and give a little bit more detail. They're trying to say the 13-year-old was, into some stuff. Her mother says, don't believe the hype. Her daughter was a good girl. So 10-year-old boy accused of unaliving a teenage girl, 13, claims it was self-defense. A 10-year-old boy who allegedly stabbed a teenage girl to death has claimed he acted in self-defense as single mother grieves her own daughter. Riley Damaris, 13, was fatally attacked on Wednesday just before 8 p.m. in Houston, Texas, after a mass fight broke out between two groups. A 10-year-old boy allegedly turned himself in and was arrested at the scene. Houston Police Department said he told investigators he stabbed the girl in self-defense. However, Riley's heartbroken mother, Ashley, disagrees. There was no self-defense. My daughter was attacked, she told the news. She added in a fundraiser that Riley was killed in a senseless act of violence after disagreement at school escalated into a chaotic confrontation. It's unclear what the youngsters were arguing about, but police said officers were called to the disturbance at Campwood apartment, which involved 20 to 30 people. Cops rushed to the complex on Grove Lane around 7:15 p.m., where they found Riley suffering from a stab wound, according to the police press release. Houston Fire Department paramedics took Riley to the hospital, where she was later pronounced dead, police said. That's the young lady that lost her life. Super, super sad. That's her again. Right now, looks like they're claiming the 13-year-old was among 20 to 30 people that came over and started assaulting people in that apartment, and that he stabbed her in self-defense, the lieutenant Larry Crossan told the outlet. However, her grieving mother has insisted that her daughter would have celebrated her 14th birthday next month, was not violent. She was not a violent person. She'd have never harmed anyone intentionally. The narrative that's going around right now about my daughter, that Riley was not, that was not Riley, she told the outlet. She described her daughter as joyful, free-spirited, happy, as well as a dancer and a singer. Instead of celebrating her 14th birthday, I'm celebrating and trying to bury my daughter right now. These balloons could have been for her 14th birthday, not her death, she added. Balloons of purple, her favorite color, as well as white and gold, were released by nearly 100 of Riley's friends and family on Saturday night in honor of the teen. Footage of the balloon release showed them drift off into the sky as Riley's loved ones embraced. I will never get a chance to hug her, to tell her I love her, because her life was just cut so short, Riley's aunt Megan told the outlet. She did not deserve it. She did not deserve to die, her mother added. Riley leaves behind her mom and two younger brothers. On a fundraiser to support the family and bury the teen, Riley's mother wrote, "This was my only girl who was taken away from me way too soon." That is her again. There are no words strong enough to describe this pain. She should be still laughing, growing, and dreaming, but instead, our world has been forever changed, she added. Losing her so suddenly and so violently has left me unimaginably brokenhearted as I try to process the pain, grief, and emotional trauma. She said that the altercation that led to her daughter's death began at school and escalated into a chaotic confrontation. The 10-year-old boy meets the minimum age of criminal responsibility, so charges could be filed, according to Croson, who added that the decision will be up to the district attorney and investigation into the incident remains ongoing. Super sad. The violence is out of control, and now we got a 10-year-old being accused of taking someone's life. Julius, your thoughts?
I have no words. When I was 10, I was playing video games, kickball. It's like this is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
My condolences go out to this mother, but the youth is out of control.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Julia. Savannah, your thoughts?
Diva, I'm like you. I completely agree. My children, I didn't play the sleepover game. If and I don't play with my granddaughter either. So if that little conversation comes up, they can come spend the night at my house. My children never left, spent the night at anyone's house. I don't even think their own cousin's house without myself being present there. Because you never know what goes on in someone else's home. I was confused on this story, that it was a young boy and a girl that were involved in
No, it
this
was 20.
incident.
It was 20 to 30 kids. And so something
Oh,
happened at school, and it continued on after school, where 20 to 30 kids came to that one complex to, I guess, talk, according to her mom, respectfully. And now, I guess different people was getting beat up. And so somehow the 11-year-old had a knife. I mean the 10-year-old. I don't know what 10-year-old has a knife though either, to be honest with you, right? And he stabbed her, but he told
right.
me stabbed in self-defense. Before you continue, Savannah, let me show this. Is it going to pull up? Let me show this, and then I'm gonna come to you. Okay.
Dirmas, who police say was stabbed to death by a 10-year-old boy. Those close to her gathered this afternoon to pay tribute. Orko Manna spoke to the girl's mother about her push for justice.
The family of Riley DeArmas gathered here tonight not only to remember her, but to also share what they say happened before she was stabbed and killed. As the sun set tonight in Northwest Houston, close to 100 loved ones came together to honor the life of 13-year-old Riley DeArmas.
Every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you.
A sea of balloons, many purple, Riley's favorite color, and warm embraces filling the crowd. Family members identifying Riley as the girl who was stabbed to death at an apartment complex on Grow Lane around 8 p.m. Wednesday.
Joyful, free-spirited, happy, a dancer, a singer.
Riley's mother describing her daughter as a kind and gentle soul who would have turned 14 next month.
Instead of me celebrating her 14th birthday, I'm celebrating and trying to bury my daughter right now. These balloons could have been for her 14th birthday, not her death.
Houston police say there was a fight between two groups of people Wednesday, including the girl, before the stabbing. A 10-year-old boy turned himself in, telling officers he stabbed the girl, and according to investigators, he claims he did it in self-defense.
It was no self-defense. My daughter was attacked.
The family adds that they want to set the record straight about Riley.
She was not a violent person. She would never harm anyone intentionally. The narrative that's going around right now about my daughter, That was not that was not Riley.
The 10-year-old boy was detained at the scene but released pending further investigation. Under Texas law, 10 years old is the minimum age of criminal responsibility, meaning charges could be considered and any charging decision will be made by prosecutors. Meanwhile, Riley's loved ones are still processing their pain.
I would never get a chance to hug her, to tell her I love her. And her life just was cut so short.
As they release balloons in her honor, all they want is justice.
Did not deserve it. She did not deserve to die.
The Harris County District Attorney's Office says they'll make a charging decision once Houston police complete their investigation. I called HPD for an update on this case, but I'm still waiting to hear back. Reporting from Northwest Houston, Orko Manna, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Savannah, thank you for letting me play that.
I got more questions now. So 20, 30 kids came into a neighborhood and not one parent, not one adult, not one community member stepped in and broke up an altercation between 20 to 30 kids. I am baffled by this story because of the ages of these children. And a 13-year-old is no longer here. And the perpetrator, a 10-year-old who knew enough to turn himself in to say, I did it, and to say, it was self-defense against what and who. And if this started in school, were there any school administrators that warned any of the 20 or 30 parents that this happened? I honestly am baffled at why this young lady is no longer here, and this 10-year-old can now be charged as an adult for a crime that could have been prevented if there was one adult, one community member somewhere that did your job. And I'm sorry, I'll probably be on the train by myself, but somebody, I didn't know what my kids were doing all the time. I didn't know where they were sometimes, but I knew where they weren't. This is just baffling to me. It's crazy that that's insane, Diva. I don't know, but I think this is a failure on adults here.
I appreciate you. Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So many people dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If this started at the school, it should have ended at the school. And for that, the school officials are in fault. When this was happening in the apartment complex, you mean to tell me none of the parents heard 20 to 30 kids out there making a noise? Then see a group of 20 to 30 kids out there hollering at each other. All of them dropped the ball because they should have came out there. The parent of this 10-year-old who was walking around with a knife or whatever he stabbed her with, has dropped the ball. What kid is walking around like this? You may not know what your kid is doing every second of the day, but you know what lessons you have instilled in them, and you know when they will and will not obey. I have raised 6 children, and never once have I gotten a phone call about them having any weapons, about them doing anything that's out of the way or breaking the law, because I taught them. And my parents didn't get those kind of phone calls neither, because they taught me. These kids are running around taking each other's lives like it's nothing. And that is sad. That every day we have to hear about somebody else's child that won't live to see adulthood. And for this little boy to say it was self-defense, it's like somebody has been coaching him. If you commit a crime, say it's self-defense. Because they don't know this. This is stuff that's being taught to them. They either seeing it or it's being taught to them. So either way, The parents dropped the ball. And he took a life, so he should serve a life.
Ooh, Katrina, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, if it's 10 people or how many other people out there fighting, how did we not know this is not self-defense? I didn't see the fight. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just saying, if all these kids are here fighting and yet still you shouldn't have used no knife, but who's attacking who? I mean, if you got a bunch of kids fighting, you don't know what's going on. And maybe it was self-defense. I'm not saying it was, but if you out there fighting it's a whole bunch of kids, like they the what they call the warlords against the Saint Next, whatever the name of them gangs are, because that's what it seems like to me. It was like a 10-year-old gang fight. You got one on this side, one on this side, and it came from the school. But the thing of it with the school is, when I said last week that the school should be responsible for the kids, y'all was saying that the school shouldn't be responsible for the kids. But the thing of it is, regardless of the fact, if all these kids out here in one bunch and no adults, that's the problem right there. That's the whole problem, because these kids should have been watched. Somebody should have been out there. There's no way all these kids should have been out there and this fight is going on and nobody jump in to stop it. Now that part is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous, and I don't know what we're gonna do with the youth when they don't listen. And I'm not saying all kids don't listen, but when you're not listening to your parents, your life is going to be short. That's stated in the Bible. So my thing is, these kids need a new outreach. They need a new plan. They need something, because they're falling by the wayside all the time. We see it every day. I mean, it's not a day to go by that you don't hear about a child or somebody being unalive. And it gets to the point where it's a normal thing. And that's sad to say that it's normal that this is happening, because it happens every day. So my thing is, condolences to the family. Condolences to the family. I don't know why the little girl was out there fighting. I don't know what was going on, but it's ridiculous. Maybe she was trying to get home. I mean, because it's so much stuff is missing out on this. But like I said, condolences to the family. That's all I got.
I appreciate you. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, panel chat. This is a little different for me because my kid actually goes to the school. My kid actually knows the little girl, and I've seen like videos that's going around. All I'm gonna say is that it's it's a lot of stuff that's misleading. One, it wasn't 20 to 30 kids. I would say in the videos that are circulating in the Houston, like blogs and streets, it's about 10 kids, and I'm like stretching it at that. The video that I saw, the little girl, she was fighting, but it wasn't like she was getting the best of them. What I seen in the video was a supposed young boy that stabs her. He was there, ran back. You could see him go into the patio, the entrance where the door is to their apartment, and came back out. Now, I didn't see the actual stabbing on the video, but then you could see the knife drop. And Diva, this isn't a pocket knife. This is like a chef's knife that he stabbed that little girl with. Like everybody said with the parents and everything, the thing that was really crazy to me is that it's 7:30 here right now in Houston. It's dark. That stabbing happened around 8 o'clock at night. What is your kids doing out wandering the streets of Houston at 8 o'clock at night? And they're not home. Your kids need to be home before it gets dark. And let me also tell you, where I live, like I live next, like literally the street over where she got stabbed. I live there. And where she lives, I live maybe 2 blocks from her apartment. She had to cross a 4 lane, not a freeway, but a highway, a street. And this street is on Little York, and it is, if you're in Houston, you know West Little York on the northwest side is highly traveled. I wouldn't want my 18 or 23-year-old son to walk across that street, even with like traffic lights and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's how like much traffic is there. The fact that they walked down there as well, that was a pretty good distance for them to walk. But from what I saw in the video, um, I think charges will be filed on the young boy, but also I think that the mother needs to be honest, because when my son told me about it the day that it happened when he came from school, he was like, Mama, I remember her from like fifth grade, but when we got to sixth grade, she was just different. She was
Mm,
a little bit more like ratchet. That was his words.
right,
You know, no disrespect to the young lady or her family or anybody. But he was like, she was a fighter, but he didn't insinuate that she starts fights or anything like that. And from what I seen, it wasn't she started it. It was they got into it. I seen the little boy run off. He came back. You heard all the kids scream, and then that was the end of the video and saw the knife on the ground. But
mm,
parents definitely need to. It needs to be more stricter laws. I know that like with time things change, but sometimes some old things just work. So I think like if we start doing that again where police are actually policing the neighborhood and making sure that kids need to be where they need to be or get them to a safe place, because where I live also there are a lot of homeless kids that are around this young lady's age who stay in parks, who stay in apartment building hallways. Y- it's real out here, you know. So I think that a lot of the community and the city needs to come together and find a solution for it, because it's just going to continue to happen. Where Quail Creek is the apartments where it happened, if you look it up, people have moved, and I've actually lived there way before it was bought out and turned into this apartment. But it ain't no place to where, you know, you want your kid to go and dump trash at night. It's just so
mm,
many people. The whole section is a populated complex where you don't know who these neighbors are. You know what I'm saying? So
mm.
I just want to, you know, give my condolences again to the little girl, but definitely justice for her. He needs to do some time. And I think the only reason why a lot of the public hasn't seen it is because of the investigations. But when those videos come out, it's definitely going to change y'all's perspective if you are thinking self-defense.
Mm. I appreciate your perspective on it. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, I just wanted to say that, you know, we know kids around this age, they should be at home, you know, probably getting ready for bed. But reality is these kids sometimes out of the excuse me, out of the malls, other places, you know, and the parents don't really, I don't think the parents really think of anything. Oh, they'll be home. However, I think that boy went in the house, got that knife,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this may sound crazy, but I think his mother told him, go out there, gave him the knife or told him, go out there, handle it. Maybe pissed off and went out there. The Bible speaks about feet quick, swift or quick to run the mischief. Like 48 said, they had to cross 4 lanes of highway to get to this. Okay, I can appreciate the mother saying my daughter was this, she was all that, she was all that. But your daughter's out there with somebody, with other kids doing something wrong. And I think the mother knows that if she's implicated in it, that she's going down. Like I said in the chat, what 10-year-old knows to say, oh, it was self-defense? His mama had time to cook up that story, coach him, tell him what to say and what not to say. I don't think this 10-year-old boy went in there and just grabbed the knife. Mama didn't know nothing. Stuff going outside. It just don't add up. No, this young woman didn't need to lose her life. But she found herself in a situation, and it happened. This is what you need to teach your children, is don't be quick to run the mischief. A lot of kids, when they see a fight going on, whatever, they all want to run. My mom used to tell me a quick runner is better than a dead stand. That's it.
Diva, can I add one more thing?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
I forgot to tell you guys where the video picked up. It was the daytime, and there were teenagers there, and these teenagers, they need to be held accountable too, because it seems like the teenagers egged it on, in the beginning. So I just wanted to add that part.
No, it's a good add-on. So let me just say this about the situation. The schools, no matter what the situation is, a school can do but so much. Even if the altercation or the disagreement started at school, a lot of times the school doesn't know every little situation that's going down. I know people that has whispered to other people like, yo, when school is over, we doing XYZ, we going to get so-and-so. If so-and-so don't go tell the principal or tell somebody, whatever, how is the school to know? They're not going to know. So now this altercation, it carries on after school. Let me just say this. Are there times that an innocent person gets wrapped up into some shenanigans? Wholeheartedly, 100%. But are there times where there's a situation and then some people wrapped up in that situation is not as innocent as you may think they are? Wholeheartedly, 100%. The problem is when you go to these group things, when people convince you, and when you got a friend that's going to egg you on to do something wrong, trust and believe they're not your friend. I have talked friends down off of ledges all the time, from stuff how they wanted to leave jobs, from how they wanted to say something to somebody. I'm not that friend that tell you, yeah, you should go ahead and do that. That's not who I am. If you got a friend that's egging you on to do something, especially if it's violent, they're not your friend. And so when a 10-year-old has the gumption, so to speak, to even go back to their porch, if you made it back to your porch, you could have went in your house and stayed in your house safely. If you literally didn't have said weapon on your body, and you was able to walk away from the altercation for even 2.5 seconds and make it to your house to get a weapon, then you could have went in your house, locked the door, and kept it pushing. Now, if they would have been knocking down the door or something, or whatever the case may be, then that would have been different. And clearly we would have easily said, yeah, we get it self-defense. So not even knowing the whole story, there's a whole lot of holes in the story. And it is very sad that we're not living in a day where you're raising your kids and your family is in your house at a certain time. My 13-year-old, when he was 13, if he wasn't at basketball practice, surely you in my darn house, or you in some family member house. But you're not just randomly in the streets at 13 or 10. The sadness of it all is a 13-year-old is gone, and for what? Probably when we hear the whole full story, it's about nothing. But a 13-year-old is gone. But see, we want to be shocked about the violence. I'm not shocked about the violence because this culture, in some avenues, violence is accepted. And then other avenues, we want to cry like, oh my God, this shouldn't have happened to my daughter, son, cousin, brother, uncle. When we got sports that's supposed to take the kids off the street, and there's violence happening on the court, in the dance mom, in the cheerleading, we got a problem. And I go back to, until we do the root cause of a lot of these problems, we're going to continue to have the problems because we want to act like it's violence is okay over here on the court when you pushing my kid down, elbowing my kid. Everybody said that's just part of the game. It's violence. And we condone it. And then we get shocked when they take the violence outside of the court or the dance floor or whatever. May this young lady rest in peace. A 10-year-old, even if it's self-defense, even if they don't charge him, you got in your psyche at 10 that you literally took somebody's life. You want your kid, respectfully I'm saying this, growing up next to that 10-year-old that already know what it's like to take somebody's life? Let me move on. Shocking crimes. That's tonight's title. So the next story we're going to roll into, I might as well do this mom's sentence. This mom, she, even if they want to try to say postpartum depression, she's cold-hearted if you ask me. And even that judge couldn't even stomach it. So let me, I got a couple of screens to show with this one. Let me just make sure I find it. Let me do this one first. I think this is the first one I want to show.
Statements today in the murder trial of Persia Nelson. The Schenectady mother is accused of killing her 10-month-old daughter, Halo, when she dropped her down a 7-foot drain pipe on General Electric's campus. CBS 6's Emma Quinn was in the courtroom this morning and joins us live from outside Schenectady County Court this afternoon. Good evening, Emma.
Good evening, Greg. The prosecution calls this a desperate search for a missing baby, and that the case was about choices that were made. When law enforcement found Halo, she was essentially frozen. However, the defense says that this was just a perfect storm, and Persia Nelson loved her daughter and did what she could to save her.
Missing in the cold rain of a March night. Missing in the dark of night.
The prosecution laying out details of the night Halo died. They say on March 9th at 9 p.m., Persia left a party at her boyfriend's mother's house on Campbell Ave. After an argument, family tried to stop her.
Walks out of the house with the baby. No coat on the baby, just a blanket.
They say from there, Persia walked down a street, down an embankment, and climbs over a fence onto GE's campus. Finds a structure where Halo was found nearly 13 hours later.
It's an 8-foot drop down to the pipes and the standing water below. And Halo, of course, fell to the bottom of that, landing in a few inches of water. Unable to be seen by anyone on the outside unless you were to put your head into that structure and look. And then her mother walked away.
The prosecution detailing the moments law enforcement found Halo.
And what he saw were the blue eyes of a baby looking back up at him. She wasn't moving. She wasn't crying. They started taking off her freezing wet clothes, while other officers took off their own, took off their shirts, took off their jackets to wrap her in.
The DA says the jury will see from police body camera video Nelson's lack of empathy and caring. The defense paints a different picture of Nelson.
I believe it's going to show that my client loved Halo, her child, with every ounce, every fiber of her being.
Nelson, originally from Hudson, moved in with her boyfriend after living in a domestic violence shelter.
She's not going out to do something to the baby, the evidence will show. She's trying to go home, and she gets lost.
Now, in court, we learned from the autopsy records that baby Halo did not have any broken bones or injuries. We do know already that her cause of death was hypothermia. We also learned that Persia Nelson had a blood alcohol content of 0.20 that March night. Reporting live in Schenectady, Emma Quinn, CBS 6 News.
All right, let me just share screen again.
Ms. Nelson, you can You know, you can cry all you want, but I know you're smart enough to know what you got coming in this case, right?
Yes.
I mean, we get all kinds of killings in this courthouse, in this courtroom. Negligent killings, reckless killings, intentional, depraved, indifference, murder. And then we got this, baby murder. All right, jury came back with baby murder. So you're getting maxed in this case. All right, no doubt about that. All right, this is not a tragic accident. Absolutely not. So I heard a lot of sorries. I didn't hear I'm sorry for murdering my baby. You'll be saying that one day. About 25 years, when you're before the parole board, I bet you'll be saying it then. Because you're gonna want to get out. Sorry, remorseful, crying then too. I bet. Yeah, but just remember, they're gonna hear and read exactly what the jury heard in this case. And that's the way you murdered baby Halo. All right, that video and the pathologist's testimony describing, so we do know what happened. We do know what happened. All right, you put baby Halo in an 8-foot pitch black, freezing, water on the bottom, hole in the ground. And as the pathologist described, she froze to death from hypothermia. He described some victims of hypothermia. There's almost a period of peaceful acceptance, Some even get undressed, go to sleep. But that's not what baby Halo did. She was absolutely terrified. Right, and she was crying. She was crying the whole time. Crying for you. And you were there. That's what the video showed. You were there. She knew it. So I don't, this ain't a left her. You waited. All right, up until the very end. That's why she died with her eyes open. Terrified, pitch black, waiting for you, keeping her eyes open. She never closed them. So, well, when it comes to that evidence, that testimony, "25 years from now, parole," well, I wouldn't get my hopes up. First count, murder in the second degree. The court does impose an indeterminate minimum 25 to a maximum life period of imprisonment. Manslaughter in the second degree, the court imposes an indeterminate maximum, 8 1/3 to 25. Is that
5 to 15, it's man 2.
5 to 15, indeterminate, man 2, not man 1. Murder in the second degree and the manslaughter count will run concurrent to one another. Endangering the welfare of a child, 1 year local. It's a Class A misdemeanor. It will automatically run concurrent and merge into the state sentences. And that is the sentence and judgment of the court, the PSI, which does recommend a sentence consistent with the court's sentence will be filed with the clerk. Defendant will be remanded back to the custody of the sheriff, turned over to docs, serve out her sentence according to law.
What a beautiful baby. May baby Halo rest in peace. I want to share screen again. When a judge gets that emotional, you know it's bad. New York City mom, 26, get max prison sentence, slammed by judge for leaving the baby girl to die in a utility shed. He called her a baby Emma. An enraged upstate New York judge threw the book at a mom Monday for leaving her baby girl to freeze to death in a utility shed and then claiming that it was a tragic accident. Parisha Nelson, 26, will spend at least the next 25 years behind bars after she reportedly abandoned her 11-month-old Halo Branton outside a General Electric plant in New York in March 2024. During her sentencing, Nelson profusely apologized, yet still described her daughter's death as a tragic accident, according to the Times Union. "I'm sorry. I wasn't being responsible," she said, as she broke down in tears. "I'm sorry. I wasn't being a better mother to you." That is another picture of baby Halo. May she rest in peace. But the county judge, Matthew, tore into Nelson, reportedly calling her a baby Emma. "This is not a tragic accident. Absolutely not," he said, as he handed her the maximum sentence of 25 years to life, the outlet reported. "I heard a lot of sorries, but I didn't hear 'I'm sorry for killing my baby.'" The toddler was found by a search team after GE staff told police they found Nelson trespassing on the plant's property, prosecutors said. Nelson dropped Halo 8 feet into a utility enclosure before she stumbled to a heated building, according to the prosecutors. The parent claimed that she lost her child and couldn't recall how she got there, according to authorities. The baby was rushed to the hospital where she died from hypothermia. Nelson was convicted at a trial in October at the top count of second-degree M. Nelson's lawyer, Mark, told the Post his client plans on appealing the conviction, claiming the facts didn't back a M conviction. He argued Nelson loved her daughter and would have never intentionally left her to die. Any criminal trial, any M trial involving an infant is very difficult, and it's an uphill battle because it's such an emotional courtroom, he said. And I think that's what happened in this case. Whew, it's a lot to digest. Julius, your thoughts?
This is a trigger for me. I'll share later as to why.
Mm-hmm. Savannah, your thoughts?
You know, the title of mother shouldn't be given to women just because they birthed someone. This is a monster. This is an absolute monster. Because Diva, as you know, in New York in March, it's still cold. It's still bitter cold in New York in March, and it's rainy and ucky. And for that baby to go down a well or go down that utility, in that utility shed, it was dark. There was debris and muck, and telling them there was critters in there with her. And that baby was nothing but scared, just terrified of what she found herself in, and to be in there for 13 hours while this monster went and sought warmth. She and missed me with the 0.20, 10. I don't care that she was drunk. Because it was probably because I think you said she had a fight with her man or something, that they were at the mama's house and she left, and because you couldn't control your emotions or you made it about you and a man, you tossed this baby out like she was a piece of trash, like debris, like this. You had no connection to this baby. Then give it up for adoption. Give it to someone that cared. Because and these are the stories when I hear them that I get so angry that we waste our tax dollars on, because if there's clear evidence, I didn't see any remorse or pain in her face or regret. It's about her and not the loss of this child. What I saw about her, when I seen her at the judge. So the judge, I think, went too light on her. I think he should have chastised her more, because I had a lot of choice words going through my head while he was talking and while you were reading the story, because she's a monster, and I don't know what the defense team could come up with to say, oh, she didn't mean to do it. She was actually trying to protect her baby. Not if you didn't go seek immediate help. Not if you didn't go and try to get down there. Those utility things are, if I'm thinking correctly, they're not that wide. They're very narrow. Enough for a baby to fall down, absolutely, but this despicable human being, my heart breaks for this baby, but I'm glad that she's no longer with this monster, and I think 25 years is not enough.
Yeah, disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And that judge was shaking, he was crying. And to know that the baby died with the eyes open, waiting for mommy to come get me. Wayne, your thoughts?
Between this and the Epstein files, I'm emotionally scarred.
Yeah.
This woman, I believe, was going to unalive this baby somehow. You ever heard the old saying, a drunk man speak a sober man's mind?
Mm-hmm.
She just had to get drunk to do it. That's all. She just had to get drunk to do it. And the horrific part to me is that, you know, children have fell from 2 stories and lived. Their bones ain't developed. They got gristle. Okay, they wouldn't be bracing for a fall like we would be if we knew we would fall.
Right.
So she may have fell that when she hit or went down there, still in good condition, but had to sit there in the dark in water. I mean, that's horrific for an adult. I can't. I don't even want to imagine. I can't imagine what a child like that is going through. I'm glad she got at least 25 years to life, which means that she ain't gonna be able to procreate. She ain't gonna be able to have no more children. Well, she at 50-something years old, I don't think you should be having no children. But at least hopefully she won't. And maybe while she in there, they can give her a hysterectomy. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Oh, this case right here got my head hurting. It really do. This one of them cases that makes the death penalty so needed. And I really wish she would have got it. These are the people that I feel like are not worthy of sitting in a prison getting 3 meals a day. When we started this story off and they said they tried to stop her, she walked out the house with no coat on the baby, just a blanket. My heart started jumping. Because who in their right mind takes a baby out when family is telling you no, with no coat on, as cold as it is? Then they said she climbed over a fence with the baby. That's dangerous within itself because she was already intoxicated. So right there, you showing that you didn't give a dang what happened to this baby. You drop the baby and you walk off. You don't call for help or nothing. In the freezing cold, that baby sat in 2 inches of water, crying. And they said nobody would see the baby unless you had your head in the drain. So even if somebody heard the baby crying, they wouldn't know where it was coming from. You left this baby defenseless to the elements. But you didn't mean to. I think there are some people in this world that don't deserve to be in this world. And I feel like our justice system should honor their wishes. They don't want to be here. They done made these kind of decisions, and we should honor their decisions and take them right on out. I pray that when she steps into those prison doors, it's a mama in there that's missing her baby. I really do. I pray she got cellmates that missing their babies because they're going to put a whooping on her, and I want her to get it. That baby only needed love and protection, and she got nothing. Because I dare these people to say they let this lady walk out the house drunk with a baby with no coat on in the cold, and y'all didn't stop her. I would have punched her in the face and snatched the baby from her. She wouldn't have been walking up out of my house. I'd have had to call the police on her. I'm sorry. I don't care that it's your baby. You ain't making right decisions right there. Now, it's so many people that I'm really upset with this story because this baby had no choice. This was who she was given to. And this is what you do.
Thank you. My opinion, 48.
Yeah, I totally agree with, in my opinion, like I think if it were me, I would have stopped her. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Even if it was my friend, like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? To me, I think the judge, I think he really wanted to curse her out. To me, being a person that's trying not to cuss so much, I could see like the gestures and his pen, like him gripping the pen and flipping the pen and taking breaths, that he really wanted to tell her like how he feel streetwise. But I agree with Savannah. I think he had enough vocabulary that he could have slashed her even more, and slashed her with words that she have to look up and know what the definition is in prison to really understand what he was calling her. She's sick. She don't deserve to get 3 meals a day. That's always my thing when I hear stories and it's like concrete. Why are we saving these people's lives? For what? When you do heinous crimes and it is proven 100%, it's not like it's anything that can mess it up. It's 100% they know you on video, it's proven. You need to be up out of here. Even the Bible say obey the laws of Caesar when you're in the land of Caesar, or you'll have to suffer the consequences of Caesar. And I think one of Caesar's laws across our whole nation need to be, if you do that, you take someone's life, you up out of here.
Yeah, very, very sad. Just when he described how baby Halo died, I just was like, unbelievable, unbelievable. I'm gonna go ahead and roll into this last story. I really pray that Savannah Guthrie's mother is still alive. Let's take a look. So, hour of desperation. Savannah Guthrie posts, I didn't go in there, I'm sorry. Savannah Guthrie posts new video begging public for help in finding her missing mom, Nancy, as ransom deadline nears. So the second deadline was today. And unfortunately, at least I know before I came live, they still had said nothing about the mother. TMZ is claiming they really feel like the mother's alive. Savannah Guthrie's on Monday issued a heartbreaking new plea for help as the supposed deadline to fork over $6 million for her mother's safe return loomed, with her admitting we're at an hour of desperation.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Super, super sad. Okay, well, I want that closed. Okay, there we go. Let me pause that. So she said, you know, the deadline to fork over $6 million for her mother's safe return loomed, with her admitting we're at an hour of desperation. We believe our mom is still out there. The Today Show TV star said in a video posted to her Instagram on Monday afternoon, she was taken and we don't know where. Savannah begged anybody across the country, not just in her mother Nancy's home state of Arizona, to report anything suspicious they think may have to do with the 84-year-old grandmother's disappearance. I'm coming on to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you can see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement, she said. We need your help, she added. The desperate plea came fewer than 3 hours before the supposed kidnapper's final 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time deadline to fork over millions of dollars in return for Nancy's safe return. The man, Savannah, and her siblings said Saturday they were ready to pay. But the ransom note senders still haven't provided proof that they have Nancy and that she's still alive. And law enforcement has also been unable to verify whether the note is real or the work of scammers looking to cash in on Guthrie's family tragedy. Nancy hasn't been seen since January 31st around 9:45 p.m. and her son-in-law dropped her off at the Tucson home after a dinner with family. She was reported missing the next day when she failed to show up for church, with police declaring a criminal investigation soon after. A ransom note was then sent to news outlets Monday and Tuesday and provided 2 deadlines to fork over huge sums of Bitcoin last Thursday evening for a ransom of $4 million, on Monday evening for a $6 million ransom. Nancy's safety would be peril and the final deadline was missed, the note said. Police have been working tirelessly around the clock to find the missing grandmother, Savannah said in her Monday statement. Thank you so much for all your prayers and love that we have felt, my sister, my brother, and I, and that our mom has felt, Savannah said. So FBI agents believe that, at least a report I saw, like an ex-FBI agent believes that the mother is not alive. He believes that the family is being played by scammers. And then, you have others believing that she is still alive. I pray that she is still alive, but this is getting very sad at this point. And then remember, they originally told us the mother didn't have medication that she needed. And also soon after she was kidnapped, they said her Apple Watch stopped syncing to her pacemaker. Julius, your thoughts?
My prayers go out to them. I've been checking on this story like crazy. I don't want to say this, but like on the other article we reported that I wish I wasn't right on, I don't think Mother Guthrie is no longer in this life. I don't want to say this, but it's looking like she's no longer here. I wish I can be wrong, and I hope I am.
All right, thanks, Julius. Savannah, your thoughts?
Sorry, Diva, I was fighting with the mute button. The story just, it's been a week since the mom's been found. Since the mom's been missing. So many ransom notes that they keep talking about in the news. It's just heartbreaking that these 3 grown adult children have to keep asking for their mom's return. I agree with the FBI that she might not be there. Not because she had a pacemaker that went off, that was being tracked and is no longer being tracked. She was also on medication that was needed.
Thank you, Savannah. I appreciate you.
Yes. It's just heartbreaking. I really think this is somebody that's close to the family. I like that the law enforcement is keeping a lot of things close to their vest and not leaking it as much to the media. But I think that these kidnappers are going to be sloppy and be caught sooner than later, and we're going to be surprised that it's going to be somebody that's really close to this family and knew their mannerisms and knew that they can get this type of attention that they've been seeking.
Yeah. Super sad. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, I'm just crazy enough to believe that she's still alive, and
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have a body, they don't have anything. Um, I just hope that whatever condition she has, it hasn't overcome her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because these people are asking for crazy money.
Mm.
Even real kidnappers don't ask for that kind of money. Not most of them anyway.
Right.
So I think I think she's alive out there somewhere. Because I don't want to put it in. I don't want to put it out there that you know. So I believe she's alive. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Well, Diva, so I've been keeping up with the case. And what I found suspicious was last night they were at the sister Anna's house again, snapping pictures all the way into the late night hour, and came out with a brown bag that looked like an evidence bag. Um, I just feel like something they know that they ain't keep that they know is happening, and I feel like we're getting close to finding out who is involved, and I think we're gonna all be shocked when we find out who these people are that's involved. I can't say whether it's whether Nancy is still here or not. I pray she is. Um, but this is a sad case, and it's been sad for a while. I keep seeing them make these videos, and every time I see them, I feel so sorry for these, kids having to go through this. You know what I'm saying? Savannah hasn't even changed her clothes. She's been in them same clothes. Her eyes look drooped up. I could tell she has not been sleeping well. And I really do feel sorry for them because at your mama's big age of 84, with the health issues she have, nobody wants to be put through the ringer of where's my mama.
Mm-hmm.
In her last days, she should be enjoying the last of her life. And instead, this lady is being held hostage somewhere for some money. That once you get it in Bitcoin, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it because the minute you try to take this money off, they're gonna be tracking you. So I don't. This is so crazy because yes, they can't track the Bitcoin right now, but they can track whenever you deposit that stuff into any account, whatever you try to buy with it, they're gonna be able to track it then. So I don't get the gain from this. You know what I'm saying? Like they keep saying they're using VPNs and stuff like that to hide where they are. But I'm telling you, I just feel like she's closer than they think she is, and we're getting close to the end.
Mm. Thank you. In my opinion, 48. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been looking at it too, and the thing that was like, it was a couple of things that was shocking to me. One of the things that was shocking was that she was on that free Nest camera system, the one that just records while you're there. It doesn't record anything like to a cloud system. Um, they didn't put like a SD card in there even to try to save it for themselves. And then it was also really dark. I seen a report when a reporter like turned the lights off and it was pitch black. So I don't know why they wouldn't have like game cameras, the kind of cameras that like hunters have, and you put it around trees. and stuff like that. I think that it should make the people in that community just a little bit more aware, step up their security systems, maybe put cameras that are facing the street, because there was a lot of brush and stuff out there. The other thing that was shocking to me was when they said she had a pacemaker. So Diva, you can help me out on this part because I don't know. I'm just like thinking, right? So if you have a pacemaker and someone her age, right, their mom's age, she gets scared. Maybe her heart starts beating real fast, and like maybe people that have pacemakers do have to take like high blood pressure medication. I don't know because they're not giving a lot of her medical information, but like, is that how that works, Diva? Like, if their heart is like racing, is that bad for the
The
pacemaker?
pacemaker regulates, but the pacemaker can only regulate but so much. You know, there's people with pacemakers that still end up dying. Like the pacemaker can't, stop the abnormal rhythm and so forth and so on. It's heartbreaking because we just know she has this pacemaker, but we don't know the other conditions the mother had, because Savannah said her mother is in pain every day, and I was like, okay, so what else is going on with her? They're saying she's in pain, but we don't know, because it's just like you don't know how much they're saying. Maybe their hopes of these people would give the mother a break and just bring the mother back. We don't know, right? Because at the end of the day, the mother was living on her own. But go ahead.
Diva, that was another thing too. Like, I'm not trying to put any blame or anything on them. Like, Lord knows in my heart I'm not, but it's just making me like aware, like how big the home was. Why, like, didn't she have somebody like a king corso, some kind of dog or something that could be there to alert if she's having trouble walking yards? Her house, is a pretty big house, so I know like she can't just walk from one side of her house to the other without stopping or having some kind of bracelet or some kind of support. I just think like it I'm not trying to blame Savannah or nothing like that, but they grew up different. Let me
Sister lives
say this,
closer though. The sister lives closer to mom.
but I'm just saying, like, I grew up different. So if I had the opportunity and was in the position of Savannah Guthrie, my mom would have like the top notch. Like, she doesn't even have to know that I'm paying for the Nest system. She doesn't have to know that there's cameras and stuff around. She doesn't have to know all of that. It was just stuff to me that I felt like they could have done more to help protect their mother, be it that they knew her health condition and that she was in that big house by herself. But I do think and I do hope that she is still alive. But just with hearing like her health condition and the pacemaker and regulations and stuff, it just makes it hard for me to believe that she is at least like all the way healthy. She might be hurt. And like Wayne, I don't want to put the bad stuff out there. I don't know. I just hope that she is.
I think we all are. I don't like the fact that they was looking in the septic tank, right? Because like, what are you looking for in the septic tank? And then, my mind went crazy because, I read kind of those two stories, the one with baby Halo, and then the update on Savannah's mom. I read it back to back, and I'm like, this mother dropped baby Halo down the whole shaft or whatever. And I'm thinking, why are they looking in a septic tank for? What are they looking for? So I think so here's the thing, my dad, he lived alone up until the age 85, and he was good until he wasn't, right? Once he got sick, it was just like he got sick, right? And one thing about older people, they don't want to leave their home. You can beg, borrow, steal, and they're like, I'm not leaving my home. Like, they just don't want to leave their home. And I get it. It's probably like their last sense of independence, so to speak. Like, that's their sanctuary, their home, right? So with that being said, I think she did have, I have the Google Ring doorbell, right? It's all different brands, but I have the Google one. So they ripped that off the doorbell. And to me, you don't keep coming. I have two sisters and a brother. So if something happened and they keep coming to my house, if I was my other siblings, I'd be like, why they keep going to Diva house? Something in the water ain't clean. They done been to the sister house about 2-3 times already. And when they leave the sister house, they're leaving with stuff. And this person, they pull cameras off the door, the walls, and this. They removed the floodlight. These people, it's either somebody that knows her or that was studying that house in her for a whole hot minute, to just be able to go pull this, pull that. And then, allegedly there was a camera on the roof that they didn't get, but the FBI or whoever got. So I think that they're not giving us all the clues, which is rightfully so. And I think maybe they're not giving it to us because they are edging closer to a person and they don't want said person to know, because they probably don't want said person to destroy evidence or to try to do something. They also claim that, I don't know if it was the police, because I've been watching so many videos on this, or whoever, they say they kind of botched the crime scene because there was droplets of blood in her front door. Now, did that blood belong to her? Did that blood belong to the kidnapper? We don't know. If it belonged to her, then we know already now, because what day are we on? Then unless they gave her medical care themselves, she was bleeding when she allegedly was being taken out or left, or whatever the case may be. So this whole story is very sad. You drop your mother off, and what's weird is, I do get it that the church said, okay, she wasn't here, but at the same time, you mean the mom never ever missed church before? Did they say, oh, she's not at church, and we tried to call her and she didn't pick up? It's some moving pieces in this story that it don't feel right and don't seem right. But I'm thinking it don't feel right or seem right because they're not telling us, and rightfully so, because they don't want to botch their investigation and everything they have going on. But I'm just like, my dad went to church all the time too, but there were Sundays he didn't go. So I don't know how they determined, like, she didn't come, she didn't show up for church, so we just knew automatically like something wasn't right, especially since the other sister just saw her the night before and dropped her off at home. I don't know. It's sad, it's messy, but I will tell you this. Sometimes people are truly watching you more than you even know. So you got to do your best to protect yourself. And I mean, they had the right things. They had a security system, and the people snatched it away. So, I mean, what else can you do? I don't know. And I don't know, when she went in her house at night, was she accustomed to like putting her security system on? I don't know. I get a little text on my phone that says the time that it wants me to set my nightly alarm. It's like, okay, it's XYZ time. You didn't set your alarm yet. So that's my little reminder. I don't know. It's very, very sad. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me for Trending Topics. I will stay on top of the story with this 10-year-old. That's a sad situation. The New York mom, she's done. If I was her, I just don't appeal. These women that leave the boyfriend's house mad, you're drunk, you're mad, and you have your little 11-month-old baby. But I will say this, shame on everybody in that house that let her walk out knowing she was drunk and had this baby with her. I would have took the baby. You go ahead on with your drunk self and do whatever you want to do, but little mama staying here. And I got to go back because I don't know who might have been or not been in this courtroom. I don't know if the dad showed up to this courtroom. I don't know the whole backstory in terms of that. So I'm dig a little bit more into that. Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy, prayers. That's all I can say, prayers. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Choo, 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 choo.